Hi everybody, it's Max Farrow from Dex Signals, and in this lesson we're going to be talking about the daily signals on Nadex and on our site. So let's get started. First off, we're going to come up here to the signals. We're going to hit Pro Signals. This will bring us to our Pro Signals page. You might hear an annoying beeping sound if there is a open signal or one that just started. Well, there's just one. Okay. So in the previous section of learning the spreadsheet, we've learned what all the different positions are. If not, run back to the last one, take a refresher. The open time of the time period of 2015 is actually 8:15. All daily signals are designed to come out about 6 times, or not about, but exactly 6 times a day. And why is that? Well, there is a process on Nadex that is called the daily signal under binary for Forex binaries. And the dailies come out 6 times a day. Now, before we head over to Nadex, I must give you a word of warning. If you're not familiar with Nadex or have a demo account on Nadex already, I want you to stop what you're doing right now, okay? And I want you to go back into the Learning Center. I'm sorry. You go back to the Learning Center, go to your Pro Info, go to your training page. Okay, I want you to go back to your training page, and I want you to go to Nadex Ninja. All right, and I want you to go through Module 1 at least. Go through Module 1 to get yourself a demo account. Don't get live. Don't put any money on. If you already have money, if you already have a Nadex account, you're already familiar with it, don't worry about it, okay? And just come back over into the video and we'll just keep on moving. All right. But I want you to be able to at least know how to navigate in and get yourself a demo account on the process itself. All right. So let's get back over to Pro Signals. There's our daily signals right there. Now, oh, looks like some more have come out even just from me talking to you. And you can kind of see there's a plethora of them. They happened at 2030. It's about 2031 right now. So we can actually see this in action now. So if you already have an account up on Nadex, okay, make sure you're logged in. Okay. Now, under Nadex, you're going to come over here to Finder. Okay. Don't worry about the Market Finder. Come to Finder. You're going to come to Forex Binaries right there. Okay, now there's 10 actual pairs that Nadex uses. You already learned that in Nadex Ninja, or you may already know that in any other case that you have been training on Nadex. But there's only 5 of them that happen to come out on an intraday process. All of them have a daily process. So let's just click on the Audi JPY, and you can see that each one has a daily. Okay, and then of course a weekly. We won't worry about the weekly. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, that's why I say 6 times a day. Now, each one has its own particular time period. So dailies at 3 o'clock in the afternoon is 1500 on the site for signals. 0700, 20 or 1100 in the morning, 1500 in the evening for 3 p.m., 1900 in the evening, and 2300. And this is where we're at right now on the Pro Signals process right now, an expiry time of 2300. So you see the daily signals are set to the daily binaries that are on Nadex, okay? So not to be confused with some of these other ones. Now these are referred to as intraday. Now we'll talk about those in the next video series about intradays, but don't be confused. The daily signals are designed around the daily expiries that are in the process. So you see the Audi USD also has 6 dailies in there as well. Now sometimes you might only see 5 depending on what time of day it is. If it's real close to one of them or just the particular daily is just expired, it takes a little bit for them to come back and regenerate and restart them for the next day. Okay, so don't worry about if you don't see one. Just make sure that you're using the proper one when you get in. Don't get confused on the 3 o'clock in the morning and the 3 o'clock in the evening. Sometimes that happens. I wish they'd put military time in here as well so you could have a better time, but it looks like it might make it too big in here or what have you. Okay. So the pairs that actually have dailies all the time are the Euro USD, the British Gold Pound USD. Let me start over here. The Aussie USD, the Euro JPY, the Euro USD, the British Gold Pound USD, and the USD JPY. These have intradays all day long and dailies all day long, of course. All the other ones have them at various times during the day, but they all have dailies. That's why I like the dailies so much. Okay, so let's go back real quick and have a look at one of them. Now remember, the dailies are set to a process that the open price is set at a particular rate above where we feel it's going to be or below where we feel it's going to be. So if it says buy here in the direction, 135.2 on the daily means that we feel it's going to be above this 135.2 on Nadex when it expires at 2300. Now when you first get here, okay, let's get to 2300, which is at 11 p.m. Oop, wrong one. That was the British Gold Pound JPY. Let's do that one. Let's do the right one here. There it is right there. 11 p.m. 135, and the number was 135.2. Sometimes it's good to have a notebook on hand, and you write it down. British Gold Pound JPY at 135.2, and you write that down, and you go over to Nadex. 135.2, there it is, and we feel it's going to be on the offer side, and right now the price is at 91.50. Now that's not that good of a profit margin. If you're not sure on how to read either side, I'm not going to teach you here. Learn it and stop the video and go over to Nadex Ninja and learn how to read it in there. Okay, you should already know how to do it when you're at this point. So in order for us to get a good price, we can either not take the trade or we can do a working order. Now, I'll go into the advanced side of doing working orders. Daily should all be set in working orders. Later on, you're going to learn how to do choke-ups and how to engage choke-ups here in future videos. But for right now, this is the basic overview of what the daily signals are. I don't want this to be a 45-minute video. Okay? So, in this case, what I would do is simply click on it, choose my amount of contracts I want to use, put in the price that I want to receive, and hit place order. What this is going to do is it's going to put me down in what we refer to as a working order, and that's how I work the dailies. Now, do all the dailies fill? Not all of them, but that's okay. The ones that do have such a high rate of success. Why do we know? Because there it is. The British Gold Pound JPY, when it fills, okay, has a 97.4% success rate. That's pretty dang good. Look at this one. The British Gold Pound USD has a 97.6% chance to fill, or when it fills that it's going to win. Okay? So what's the percentage rate for it to fill? Right around 40 to 50%, depending, 40 to 60%, depending on the actual pair itself. Now, sometimes you might get stuck into a very bad day or a week or a couple of days because you're trading into the news. You definitely don't want to trade into news. And later on in videos, we're going to show you how to avoid the news and how to preset, where news is at, how to use your calendar and all that kind of good stuff to help make you more organized. And that's really important. But for now, just know that when you come to the site and there is a process for the daily signal, placing in the working order gets you to that point that if you place in the working order, just like we did right here, okay, this has a great potential to reach that $78 because sometimes the market comes up and of course will come back to that position. And that's really important because you have an availability for the working order to fill, and if it fills, it has a high rate of success. This is the perfect trade system for us because we get the availability to put in a working order for no risk, Okay, because even if we put the working order, even though it comes out of our main balance temporarily, if I were to cancel this, the money goes right back in. So there's no fees to it. So it's in a working order capacity. So if it does fill, okay, if it does fill, then it has a very high rate of success for this process if it's not trading during a news time. Okay, now also keep in mind you don't want to trade too many of them at a time, because what happens if they were a multiple side would, you'd have 3 or 4 that filled. You would break your risk management and you'd be unprepared. So sometimes you got to take that chance and trade the ones, you put the ones on. And sometimes you might pick the one that is the loser for the night, or you might pick 2 that are the winners. It's completely in its kismet if it is, and if it's not, it's Murphy's Law kind of process, right? What can go wrong will go wrong. The design here too is to be consistent and be valued. You're going to be double checking and triple checking things as well. We're going to show you how to do that in later videos on how to confirm, good direction. You can even have a possibility of what we call choking up, where we look at the next strike up. Now, because it's at 135.54, does this $73 look good for us? And the answer is yes, it's a $25 profit margin. And what we would do is we would look at the data, okay, on the British gold pound. And remember what we said, we can actually isolate the data. We're going to do that right now. We're going to isolate the data and look at it and say, okay, on these ones that are buys only, okay, because remember, data is different on either side. Look at the win ratio here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 1 loss. That's about a 90% success on the buy side for them to win. But when they win, they're winning at 20 pips or more. So what do? We simply say, if I come up 1 extra 1, because that's where the norm is, they're all over 20, I'm going to put my 1 in here, and I'm going to buy this one right now. I'm going to get into this trade because this is what we refer to as a choke up. There hasn't been one single trade underneath that 20 pips except for the 1 loss. Now, if this is going to lose, it's going to lose, and that'll be a natural loss for us. But the odds are very, very good in our favor for this to win on a choke up. Okay? And that little mentality right there is called a choke up. You'll learn even more advanced choke up processes and how to navigate the process inside the daily signals to really isolate the variables inside the system to get a better feel on how to choke up and when to choke up and when not to choke up. Okay, you're looking for perfection. You're not looking for multiples of trades, you're looking for perfection. So now that I got this British gold pound JPY, do I want to keep this one down here? We don't suggest trading what we call the pearl, okay, the string of pearls. We don't want you to put, one trade on top of another on top of another, because if there's a sudden movement in the opposite end of the market, you could lose both very quickly, and it's very difficult. Remember, we're looking for perfection. If we can't find perfection first, then we start hunting for a little bit more aggressively, but nothing more from that point. All right. Well, this video is pretty long as it is right now. I wanted you to get a quick taste. In the future videos, I'm going to show you a little bit more about doing the working orders and taking profits and things like that. I'm Max Farrell, and this is Dex Signals. We'll see you on the side. Trade well.